Howdy. I'm feeling a little more haggard than normal. I had to take my car into this is a haul video, I'll get to the clothes in a second. There's not gonna be too much of a preamble. My brake pads went out in my car unexpectedly, so I had to take my car into the mechanic. I'm out 240 bucks. Killed my day of thrifting. I was able to walk 2 miles to a Goodwill and spent maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours there, and then walked 2 miles back to the mechanic. At that Goodwill, I was able to make a massive financial investment of about $25 in clothing. And I want that to be the focus of this haul. You know, I'm still gonna sell clothes. I don't anticipate that changing in the near future unless I find something that I'm better at. But it's hard. If you're a new reseller and all you're imbibing in terms of content and advice is from from these major big accounts, you're gonna get a skewed perspective of what it means to resell clothing full-time for a living. They're not misrepresenting themselves, but they're highly, highly successful people who are both talented and lucky, and they've been doing it a long time, and most of them have employees, most of them have major operations. They don't live with fear day to day. They don't make decisions with grave ramifications for their immediate future based on what they buy and don't buy. So they can afford to be kind of a little bit more fun-loving and to treat this as, you know, I'm not impugning their work ethic at all. I don't know these people personally, and they're better at it than I am and more successful at it than I am. But the vision that they promulgate of reselling is one of, you know, going out for the day on a treasure hunting adventure and coming back and like, wow, look at this Ninja Turtle sweater. Maybe we'll be able to flip this for $35. And just running that over and over and over again, or, you know, kind of the lifestyle porn of look at my coffee, or the reality is grim. I mean, the reality is, and maybe it's different if you live somewhere that's less populated and less crowded, it is a brutal grind. It is a brutal, brutal grind of competing with other people for scarce resources, being on your feet for hours and hours. I probably walked, I don't know, 6 miles today, including all the time I spent running back and forth, fighting people at the racks, etc. I'm not trying to discourage you from doing it, I'm just saying it's hard, man. Okay, stuff to resell. Stuff to go beast mode on. Make money in 2019 on eBay. Was able to farm this out. Cool. No brainer. Everything cool sells. This was, of course, $7. Oh, it was crazy today because it was a 2-tag dollar day, meaning 2 of, I think, 6 of the tag colors were $1. It was just, I mean, you could barely walk in the store. There were so many people, and it was just crazy picked over. And as much as I'm complaining about selling clothes, that is the cool thing about clothing if you're thrifting for a living, is that you can always find it. Every Goodwill, every major thrift store is essentially just a clothing store with some other shit on the side. It is majority clothing inventory that comprises, I would guess, probably at least 70% of most of the stock. And most people, you know, there were a lot of resellers, but resellers all have their own specialties and niches, their own levels of competence. So if you're good at this and you have a couple of areas of specialized knowledge, like I know men's shirts very intimately, there's not as much competition directly as it may seem, although there is certainly competition. So even in awful conditions like today. Absolutely unideal conditions. It was the middle of the day. There were probably at least about 150 people in that Goodwill. And it is a large one, but I mean, even in those conditions, you could still make money. A whopping, I mean, I'll probably make like 30 bucks off of this haul. I do a quick flip, I price low. Typically I'm doubling my money, making a little bit more than double. But it's what you gotta do. It's what you gotta do. Versace. Believe it or not, you have to be careful with this brand. There's a lot of Versace stuff that doesn't sell that well. The men's blazers in this line don't have very high sell-through and they don't sell for that much money. Same with Armani. Same with Prada, same with Coach, same with Jimmy Choo. All of the really top dollar, ostensibly top dollar brands, luxury brands, a lot of it doesn't really hold resale value, which makes sense if you think about the clientele. I'm sorry for the lawnmower. The clientele for expensive stuff, whether it's kind of more middle-aged or older, luxury brands like the ones I just described, or if it's a younger streetwear brand, the people who have a lot of money and are willing to pay up for an article of clothing, I would say almost all of them are not making rational buying decisions. They are buying for image. They're buying because of some emotional association that they have with the brand. They're buying for status, and a used, whatever it is, does not confer the same status as buying new. It doesn't push the same buttons. You don't get the sensory experience of going into a retail store with all of the carefully managed sensory cues of lighting and sound and smell, and getting the bag, walking around with the branded bag. All of those elements are missing from the eBay secondhand buying experience. So unless it's something really, really special, you can't just buy blind with something like Versace. And you're not gonna get as much money as you think, for the most part, unless you find something really special or you're willing to hold out for it. And there's plenty of people that do that. My favorite, certainly one of my top 3 favorite YouTube channels in reselling is this guy Rick, Thrift Fever. I recommend that you check him out. And he snipes higher end, secondhand, luxury goods, vintage stuff, and he completely ignores the market and just prices it with complete disregard for what the comps are, both active and sold, and he prices them way up. And he's able to get consistent enough sales to do it full time, and he'll sell stuff for 100, 200, 300 bucks when the comps are at 50 or 60. And maybe there's some voodoo there that I'm not aware of, but you know, that's not a risk that I'm really willing to take at scale. And I'm very tired, and I am now lost in the woods, and I don't know why I was talking about Rick. What was the point there? I don't know. Go subscribe to this channel. There's a lot to learn there. Radically different business model than mine, which is all about sell-through, flipping quick. Anyway, I guess the moral of that story is these are some vintage Versace jeans. I will probably price these between $30 and $40, is what I'm trying to say. Because the sell-through is not crazy. It's about 50% active versus sold. Usually I like 100%, even pairing. But this is one of those cases where it's a recognized brand and the bar of entry is set really, really high. So the lowest possible comp right now is, I think it was 45 or 50 bucks for a pair of V2 Versace jeans. So I'll come in and I'll undercut and I'll be able to flip it much quicker. That was wordy. Did Did I really buy 3 things? Holy shit. Oh God, man. It was picked over. This is actually atypical. Usually it's not this scarce, but sometimes it is. And what else are you gonna do? I mean, I would rather camp at a single thrift store for a couple hours and roll those dice versus getting in my car and driving across LA and hitting multiple thrift stores, burning all that gas, burning all that time on the road, and just cherry picking and trophy hunting. It didn't work out for me today. I lost that game today, but most of the time it works out. Most of the time, I mean, if you've watched other haul videos, I'll have 15, 20 things. Not today, not today. 2 tags, fun stuff. This is a great brand. Ariat. This is, they make boots. It's an equestrian type, Western wear type clothing and shoe brand. And this is Ariat FR. FR, if you ever see it on clothing, means flame resistant. Meaning it's made of material that is flame resistant. I'm really smart. And this is branded, this has corporate branding on it, which is not good, but I'm rolling the dice on it anyway. And there are, interestingly, 0 comps for Ariat FR sweaters anywhere on eBay, active or sold. I don't know if it's super rare or what was going on, but there were 0 comps. The comps for Ariat FR shirts is about 3x. Flame resistant stuff is typically very high sell-through and worth a lot of money. All the FR stuff that I've gotten, I've not been able to hang on to it for very long. I may eat those words because I actually have 3 flame resistant t-shirts that I just listed, and that was last night and they haven't sold yet, and I'm already anxious about it because that's my brand. This has, if you're ever in doubt, look at the tags and they'll have these big flame resistance disclaimers. Again, I'm just going for the quick flip. My ideal scenario when I sell clothes is the thing that freaks people out when you list something and it sells in half an hour and you're left wondering if you could have priced it up more. If I could just have that happen every single time I listed something, I would absolutely do it. That's what I'm aiming for here. I'm probably gonna list this for 25 and hopefully that's lower than I could have listed it and it'll just be out of my hands. And I bought a book of essays by Eisenstein because that's the key to success is learning about Soviet film theory instead of finding a girlfriend. All right, thanks for watching, guys.